Hey, so how did I get involved this cycle? So I voted, and I voted absentee in a swing state, particularly Ohio, because my vote goes way further there. Um, but I have a really interesting relationship to voting, particularly, I think it's like expressed to us as like this most important way to be a part of democracy, and I think that kind of pushes forward the narrative that like society sits within politics rather than politics being an entity of society. And so a big part of my work around this election cycle has been both opening up a lot of community dialogue and conversation around like really starting grassroots and with the interpersonal. And yeah, for some context, I work as a community organizer, specifically with restorative and transformative justice and the Dignity in Schools campaign. And so along with that, it's also been a lot of like year and a half, 18 months out planning and thinking around like how do our campaigns continue to unfold and push forward? Are there hopes that I have beyond presidential results? I hope for an intense revolution, honestly. I think that there's like this huge learning moment right now of like, um, I I think it's really unjust that like the Black Lives Matter movement and racial justice is being attached to a political affiliation. I think collective liberation is never going to sit into a political landscape, and I think that some people are waking up to that idea. And I feel really excited for what movement is to come around that space. This cycle specifically compares to previous ones I've engaged in that I think I feel more grounded in my body. I think I've done a lot of learning over the past handful of years of like what my relationship is to civic engagement. Um, and like I think no matter what, a policy isn't going to change my relationships with my neighbor, but I can do that. Um, and so it's like holding both, right? I don't want to like take away the importance of democratic participation, and I want to be able to hold space for people to be able to pursue the ways that they want to engage. And also, I think that like civic engagement needs to start on such a micro level, and I feel really invested and involved in that space right now, and it also feels like much more of a survival mechanism. It feels like rather than centering the oppression of a destructive, horrific political system in my everyday actions, I'm like really centering a love that we're asking to stop being interrupted. And that feels so powerful. And then did the cycle engage you more or less than previous cycles? I think it engaged me differently. I don't know if there's a more or less. I was really like my role in the last election was really around like phone banking, and like more on the grounds direct political response. And right now it's more so about space holding for people who are feeling directly impacted, like kind of making sure that people are able to connect to survival services, the depolarization of anti-racism from a political party, and really back to the grounds of like there's a severe political distraction right now around some really basic human needs around health and survival. And so, really being able to uplift and uphold those needs right now, um, and get the people that I care about what they need to survive and thrive. All right, I hope that that's helpful. Cool, so I just watched my first video that I had made before the election, and so this is a few days after that. Yeah, I mean, it's wild to think about all of the like anxiety that I think people were collectively facing up until the election, and now afterwards, it almost feels like this strange, like, definitely not a calm space, but a space that's less anxious and more weird and kind of just like, I don't know. I feel like politics is losing a lot of its credibility because of the way that folks are acting within the political system. Um, yeah, and so watching that unfold is really interesting. Um, I mean, Wednesday I like woke up and we had like campaign meetings and things like that for 2021 local elections and things like that, and things are just continuing to move along, you know. Um, yeah, I had a moment on Tuesday night of just like feeling really lonely, I think, in the work that I do, and really wondering like if I can do another 4 years of community organizing work under this administration and what that means in terms of like day-to-day feelings of loneliness. So I feel like that was like my moment that was really hard to grapple with. And now, again, this is being filmed in a time that like we don't know a winner, but um, it's like looking like it's going to be Biden. There's almost like this calmness or anticipation of breath that I feel excited for, and will just kind of really change dynamics of how people feel doing this work. And that is what I am excited for, and also don't want to speak too soon in case that's not going to happen. Yeah, and I guess when I filmed the original one, I was really in a space of like some intense community poetics, which is really great. I also just maybe want to disclaim that I don't want to like undermine the importance of an election. I just think it needs to be acknowledged as a piece of a larger puzzle and not the puzzle itself. Yeah. I'm also trying to stay offline so that doesn't like fuel the parts of me that wants to like throw out witty quips to the world. And yeah, I think that's all I have to say.